Yo, yo, yo. You know, y'all see the description. Future brother FBG Casino. Feds did a sweep. My boy happened to get caught up in it. But before we get to that, let's talk about how my boy Shadour Sanders started the day. I don't want to look at no highlights. I don't want to look at nothing. I don't want to hear about the score. I just want to wait till it's over with and watch the highlights. You know what I mean? But everybody happy. Shadour Sanders, even people who ain't Brown fans, is supporting. Like, some people be like, man, ain't no such thing as racism. I never been through it. But one thing I would say about the Sanders family is this. They got all walks of life supporting them. You know what I mean? Like, everybody just feel like the guy deserve a fair chance. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see all walks of life supporting him, saying, go 12, go 12, go 12. We got your back. You know what I mean? So I hope my boy have a decent game. I can't wait to watch the highlights. I ain't gonna lie. I hope he, like I say, I understand NFL and the politics and shit like that. So I just hope my boy had a decent game, man. Other than that, you know, we're about hip hops, finances, sports, and fashion. We all about growth and progression. Like I say, even if you're not a Browns fan, tap in and show support to my dog Shadour Sanders, man. Like I say, even if you don't watch NFL, just tap in and shout 12 out. But now, y'all read the description. Hit that like button for those who just jumped in. Future brother FBG Casino caught up in the Fed sweep or 21 blocks of that fence. Now, we all know it's a snitch involved. We all know the politics of the streets. You know what I mean? When it comes to the game. You know what I mean? I appreciate whoever hit that like button. Appreciate you tapping in. Yeah, I ain't gonna cap. He mine too. He one of mine. I ain't gonna cap. Shannon actually grew on a lot of us. Like, a lot of us somewhat knew of Shannon a little bit, but he got more famous, believe it or not, post NFL career. You know what I mean? With Nightcap and Shay Shay and all of that. And then, you know, we all know the history with him and Skip and all of that. We was really only watching that shit because of Shannon. But I definitely agree with you on that. What it do, family? What it do? Yeah, man, future brother caught up in sweep. Hit that like button when y'all tap in. 21 things of fent. I ain't gonna cap, but when you hear, like, I mean, you don't even want to get caught with a block. You know what I mean? So 21 of them. Yeah, boy, your ass finna be on pause for a hot minute. You know what I mean? Like, you know, a lot of us are there, and, you know, I see the comments when, you know, the news first broke. People like, that's future brother. How he, you know what I mean? How he, you know, trapping woo 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 woo. You know what I mean? And all of this. But what people fail to realize is this. You know what I mean? It don't matter if the mayor is your brother or your cousin, bro. At the end of the day, once you become 18 and over, people don't say this, but they feel like, man, basically, bro, you're responsible for your outcome. If they become a mayor or even become a big time trapper in the hood, a lot of people either don't want to feel like they're a burden to somebody, or they just got a person around him who, you know, the moment he got on, he just, you know, he only care about himself, what he got going on. These kids be copying these dumb rappers and get smoked. Shim, whatever you say your name, I ain't gonna cap, boy. You preaching right now. These kids be copying these dumb rappers and get smoked. I did a live a few lives ago where I said King Von got a bunch of baby Vons running around, and then little Bloodhound, little Jeff just added on top of it. I already said that. You know what I mean? Say, what's up, family? I appreciate you erasing your last comment, but what it do? Trevor Jenkins, what's up? What it do, family? I did a live a few lives ago where I said it's a bunch of baby King Vons. I ain't gonna cap. We always had rappers talking about stuff that they did in their music. But Von, with him really living it, put the icing on the cake, you know what I mean? As far as on where now, you know what I mean? That's the formula, you know what I mean? Like if you already a street figure or you was overlooked and then you started doing stuff in the streets to get noticed, you know what I mean? And then you become a rapper, you know what I mean? He said, "Are you a rapper?" Nah, I ain't no rapper. You know what I mean? But I just been around the game of rappers my whole life and shit like that. But nah, I ain't no rapper though. We got too many rappers. We don't need no more rappers. You know what I mean? That's like I remember growing up, becoming a rapper was a way of getting out the streets of the game. You know what I mean? Y'all hit that like button while y'all tapped in. Wahoo, G6H, what it do, family? When I was coming up, you want to be a rapper, that means you wanted to get out the game and so what find the outlet for you and your surroundings. You know what I mean? Now they done put the streets so much in the rap game that you carry the streets in the rap game. So the moment you even get a bag, it might not even last 2 years. It might not even last 2 years because you you coming in with a crowd, you coming in with an entourage, you know what I mean? Certain people hide, you don't know who doing what as far as on whether they sliding or trapping or whatever they doing in their personal time. So by the time you get your deal, you and your gang hot, you know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you a city who don't let niggas go on a long run if you doing something bad. New York. New York, so crazy, like when I was like analyzing to Takashi 6ix9ine investigation, how they was talking about they had like video cameras or whatever type of technology where they seen the dude Kuda B who did the shooting for him on Chief Keef go in his building, get off the elevator, go up to his apartment. It's like, see, I don't want no smoke with New York then. You know what I mean? Y'all on a whole nother level. Then they make New York look like, you damn near wonder how crime exists, because from the TV point of view, they make New York look like it's a cop on every corner. You know what I mean? Like you got cops walking down the street. So, for out of towners, they trying to figure out like how stuff even be happening. You know what I mean? Beats, what it do, family? Salute, hit that like button. But yeah, man, they say my boy, future brother FBG Casino got popped with 21 of them things, and why it's crazy, especially Brooklyn. Yeah, for sure. I ain't gonna cap everywhere crazy, but see, New York problem is that it's too many people there as far as the population. You know what I mean? So it don't matter. It don't matter how many people got jobs. It's overcrowded, so it's more wolves than sheep. You know what I mean? And so the opportunity is very skilled. Come on, man. New York got 18 to 24,000 people living in the building, bro. That's a projects as far as that's their hood, whether it's Marcy or, you know what I mean, anywhere. You know what I mean? So, me personally, New York cool to visit, which is where I'm finna go in a couple months. But other than that, man, that's about it, man. I ain't never had no dreams of moving there, man. There's too much going on. You know what I mean? Daniel H. Parks, you might have to Guinness Book of World Records for the biggest. Hey, dude's mamas be on here talking crazy. We waited for you in the Bronx. Watch your back. Boy, you don't get your goofy ass off my live, boy. Somebody, we waiting for you in the brush. Watch your man. There's always a peasant. You ain't got nothing going for yourself. You got a profile pic of a burger or a pizza. Boy, your ass fool. Get your in the Bronx of that. Yo, get your dirty ass off my live. I would be a peasant. I ain't got no problem with the Bronx, but there's always one or two peasants that's, you know what I mean, that's walking around dirty as hell. You ain't even got your picture as your profile, and you had the audacity to think you gonna come on Tribe and drop your nuts, man. You get your filthy, disgusting ass up out of here. Niggas be out here looking for love and a daddy, boy. Don't you got it? You can clearly tell the losers. If this for the record, man, if you got a fake profile pic and you ain't got one of yourself, you a loser and a low life, and your mama should have swallowed you. Cause that show right there what your character is. You know what I mean? You ain't got no life. You shouldn't even be living. You know what I mean? Go swap with somebody type shit. You know what I mean? Because you just wasting air. You just strolling through your timeline, and you know what I mean? And you know. But yeah, let me get back to FBG Casino, man. Just like that, boy, I can make you evaporate. The moment you come in, the moment you come in here, get on dumb time. I'll let you kick it a little bit, but just like that, now you gone evaporate by. But yeah, future brother Casino, man. It's about to be a long haul for that guy. You know what I mean? In a case like that, man, it's too late in the 2000s to be getting caught with 21 things of fent. You know what I mean? Like, they had 380,000 they found in the crib. Like, bro, you tweaking hard. And then we as other people out here won't understand it because we be feeling like we see you niggas all in the videos. Anytime you know a rapper or you hanging out with them, anytime you know a rapper, my guy said, dude, I don't want to be salty, but these Jamaicans be coming from the island and surviving mentally, and they are the black community got a lot of toxicity towards our people. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, you is right though. Yeah, you is right. But I ain't gonna cap though, like I grew up in the house. My stepfather was Jamaican, man. You know what I mean? You got some good ones and you got some bad ones, you know what I mean? Just like what other people say about us, they be like, you got some good Americans and you got some bad Americans. So, you know what I mean? It's all however the coin land, you feel me? You know what I mean? It's all however the coin land for real. You know what I mean? Other than that though, we ain't gonna just blame yeah, even my boy said true. Yeah, we ain't just gonna blame like a certain nationality for the flow of illegal narcotics. You know what I mean? You got CVS, you got all type of these different, you got all type of, you know what I mean? Like US got to take accountability just as much as we try to put all the blame on people on the streets. You know what I mean? We all know that Walgreens, all these different pharmacy stores is the modern day traps too, as far as on causing addiction. You know what I mean? It's a lot more people now with pill addiction or pharmacy addiction than any other type of addiction nowadays. You know what I mean? So, and then if you know the history, and if you don't know the history, go watch what's that shit with Franklin and all of them and Jerome and all of them Snowfall. That somewhat will help you and give you a form of idea of when it comes to drugs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Somewhat the politics of it. You know what I mean? Without me getting too deep or whatever. But yeah, that's the world at a point. Yeah, for sure. I have infinity accounts, my boy. True. Yeah, for sure. So we ain't gonna just sit here and just put the blame on a certain nationality, man. You know, drugs has been going on since the beginning of time, man. You know what I mean? As far as on, I ain't gonna say the beginning of time, but like marijuana is the only drug that is from the. It's not a drug, but it's from the earth. You know what I mean? Everything else was like man-made. You know what I mean? Or not man-made, because poppy is plants and stuff like that come from plants, but you know, but you do got some drugs that was experimentally made in the lab and then put on the streets of America to destroy. You know what I mean? A certain race of people, but not realizing when you do that, drugs don't have no picks. You know what I mean? Drugs don't discriminate. You know what I mean? Anybody can do drugs. You know what I mean? You got kids doing drugs, so there's no such thing as war on drugs. You know what I mean? It was a war on trying to wipe out Watch No Fall, which these types of movies spread with the people. Right. But you know what? We don't need them to spread with the people, you know what I mean? Because we got people like me and you who know what's going on, and we can spread the little knowledge and wisdom or whatever that we got to those who, you know, either seeking it or willing to know and learn, and we can point them in the right direction, you know what I mean? But the thing is that we got to grow out of just looking at life as the moment we get into a corner or we backed into a tight situation that we got to go get that pack. You know what I mean? And it took me a long time to grow out of that for real. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna cap like my era of doing things is like it wasn't about trying to go on TikTok. You know what I mean? My era is like, okay, if you're back against the wall, either you grab that thing or you go, you know, you get that pack. You know what I mean? Whether it's a couple pounds or a couple ounces of work or whatever it is you're doing. You know what I mean? But it took me a long time to grow out that though. I ain't gonna lie, that was my mentality like many years ago. Like if I'm down to the down to the down, and I'm, you know what I mean? I'm finna go take this last couple thousand whatever and cop this and then flip it, and you know what I mean? That was my way for a long time, and then it took a long time to actually grow out of it and realize that when you be having shoe boxes full of money and duffel bags and just safes and walls and all these different levels of how you hide your money, you know what I mean? You got to do something with it. It don't make sense to have a bunch of bread and it's just stacked up waiting for a snitch or a hating nigga who know that you really untouchable. He really can't get to you like that, but people can make up lies to the people to the point where they'll still investigate you and even test the waters by luck kicking your door in and then end up getting a warrant after they find something. You know what I mean? Not before, but after. You know what I mean? Because they really going off the word of mouth of somebody else. But you know what I mean? I think a lot of our problem is that we want to grow out of a street mentality way of thinking, but in reality, we don't because you know what I mean. We being impatient, like you say, study us starting a laundromat or a car wash or a pool hall or whatever it is. We want to revert back to where we want to, you know, get that pack, them things or whatever it is. And sometimes the game in your plug might be the same person that he was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He might was loyal. He might want hot all like that then. Within this course of time of y'all not dealing with each other, things have changed, you know what I mean? So sometimes I done seen situations where dudes who jump off the porch and they first time hustling, they sell to an FBI agent. You know what I mean? Undercover. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like the luck don't really last too long. You know what I mean? It's on you to understand and accept how you want your life and how you view your life. You know what I mean? You know if you trap for 5 to 10 years or whatever you say to yourself, you already know you go croak, you go have some fumbles and you gonna have some flags on the plays. You know what I mean? What they mean is they run up in the spot They take some action from you, or run up in the spot and take some money from you, or pop somebody with money, or it's all type of ways. You know what I mean? So me personally, I feel like now, with the way the times is now, like you ain't gotta just really, you ain't really gotta revert to just jumping out there selling bricks, bro. You know what I mean? Like involving yourself in the weed game is nothing wrong with that to me. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I don't mean to say that, but I don't really look at that as a bad thing. A person, you know what I mean, going, messing with marijuana. But bricks though, bro, like nah, bro. You feel me? Like that's the wrong route to go when your paper low and you feel like you need to get your paper back up right. You know what I mean? Because one thing about having a form of some investment, whether it's just one or two things, it could be a newspaper. I don't know. I'm just making up a newspaper stand, just any type of thing. Even if it's slow money to you, it's still worth the investment. It don't make no sense to be all on the gram, all on the book, all on YouTube, and you showing racks, and if you ain't got it invested, at least something is something. Whether you buy a mobile home, fix it up, you own it, you put all into it, and you rent it out. You know what I mean? Nowadays, the way it is now, it's more easier to start your own thing. When whatever type of money you got, whether it's legal money or legit money, you know what I mean? And it all starts with you just go ahead and just, you know what I mean, copping that one thing, you know what I mean, and figuring out how you gonna do it, you know what I mean. But other than that, selling bricks, it should not be the first thing. And then when you get the opportunity to be around Future, right? Like, okay, check this out. Like, say for instance, you one of us, right? Future your brother. If Future my brother, it's no way, my nigga. Like, I ain't even gotta really ask him for nothing. It's just with him being my brother, and he done videos with me. It's well documented that I got association and dealings with him. You know what I mean? I'm finna capitalize off that alone and just eat off that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not finna think about involving myself with bricks or anything like that, or even somebody who dealing with them. Now, if a person dealing with pounds or whatever, okay, whatever, we don't care about that. But bricks, nah, I'm not even trying to be nowhere around it, you know what I mean? The vicinity, nothing like that, you know? So, but I'm gonna capitalize on that, like, man, I would have had a YouTube channel. You already call yourself FBG Casino. My YouTube would have been, it's just ways you could go about getting money legal now versus, but everybody be so impatient. Me, the best grind is slow grind. Slow money better than no money. It's only your problem if you ain't making nobody. But if you make it slow money is better than nobody. And the problem is that when you so street-minded like how Future Brother Casino is, and I used to be like that, the first thing you think about investing your bread is because you already tallying up the numbers in your mind. You know what I mean? And that ain't always, it's about longevity, you know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes that come with like people who already done a little time before, and then when they sat down and they was on pause and you had to be sidelined, and then because that's the only way you really, unless you got an old head who really schooling you and telling you, and he damn near somewhat raised you and you respect him, and you you honor his word or whatever. But like a lot of us, we got to get smacked across the head the first time and sit down, you know what I mean, a couple years, and then understand that everything ain't meant to be rushed, you know what I mean? Like, it's so easy now to just invest your money into anything. Like I said, you can get a mobile home, a single wide trailer, buy that, fix it up, you know what I mean, put it on a lot or acre of land, just any type of things now where you can make bread now, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really all on how patient you is, you know what I mean, to, wait for things to pop off, because it don't pop off overnight, anything that you're trying to really get into. But if you got paper and it's just sitting around and you blowing it on jet skis, boats, trips, and all of that, and you don't got none of it invested in at least one thing, then you tripping right now. You got to have at least something going on, you know what I mean, that You know what I mean? You just, that's just not good because the game don't last good forever. It don't matter who you is, you know what I mean? You got one of the biggest longevity over impulsive act. Right, for sure. Right. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna have to screenshot that. I'm gonna have to put that. Yeah, for sure. And anybody with common sense, you gonna always choose longevity over impulsive act, bro. You know what I mean? You can have a product, bro. Put it this way, bro. You can have pounds of Zah right now. I was just watching a video on YouTube where a dude in Florida that was driving down the street throwing pounds of Zah out their car into the street. People chasing, running, and pick it up. Okay, you can have pounds of Zah. It might not be moving right now, but at the same time, that don't mean you just give up on it, bro. You feel me? At some point, you're gonna come across somebody who wants something, and that's the same thing with merch, uh, food industry, anything that you've invested in and you put your time into, man. You can't look at it for what it's not doing now. You got to look at it what it's gonna do in 6 months or a year from now. You know what I mean? That's how you got to look at it. And see, I used to look at it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it took me to really like focus on this a little bit more and get to thinking longevity and understand that, okay, you got tribe water, you got the fitness, you got things going on, you know what I mean? You got phone cases, you know what I mean? You got cars, you know what I mean? You got a lot of things, you know what I mean? So even if it's not moving how you wanted to move, that don't mean it will never move. You just got to be patient, you know what I mean? And you got to keep going. At some point, somebody who keeps seeing you promoting it and they know your face card and they see you, you know what I mean? They see what you own, you know what I mean? They'll buy something from you to support you, you know what I mean? So jumping in the street buying bricks, you know what I mean? It's not a good route, not a good investment. Even being a part of it is not a good investment, man. At some point, you know what I mean? You got to grow out of it and stop saying I've been street my whole life, man. I've been street, man. You know what I mean? I've been dealing with the street since 10, you feel me? Like, not even trying to get into uh talking crazy, like making it seem like I just had misguided parents, but as far as street activity since 10, so you can't shake out of certain street things, you know what I mean, as far as ways of thinking. You know what I mean? You ain't got to completely shake your ways because your street instincts can keep you alive. But you do need to shake out of it as far as financially and when hard times hit or whatever. They don't even got to be that, or where you just feel like I'm finna call up Hector and get me some bricks. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, nah. Miley Greeny, yo, what it do, family? My fault, what it do? Hit that like button. But yeah, man, when I see cases like that, you know what I mean? I don't really like to see cases like that because, like I say, he FBG Casino, you know what I mean? You don't know what him and Future got going. They might have quit talking, family have ups and down moments where they not talking, and sometimes you even fall out. So maybe a nigga felt like his resources was low and he felt he had to just do that versus go run up in a bank or something, you know what I mean? You just never know. But I'm just saying, me personally, like, the moment, that's just like me. If I meet Jamie Foxx, you know what I mean? And I'm able to be around Jamie Foxx for 1 minute. Within that 1 minute, I'm gonna try to make so much happen. Meaning, I'm gonna try to get him to give me a drop on my channel on the quick side. Actually give him a Tribe Culture jacket and then have him hold up the jacket and try it on video and all that and tell him how I feel, how the fabric feel. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get so much out of him within that 1 minute that I can take and then roll with it. You know what I mean? In 1 minute, it's not a lot of time. You know what I mean? So, but it's about the opportunity that you come across. You know what I mean? You got to recognize your blessing. And sometimes people just be too comfortable where they don't take the time to recognize their blessing because they're so caught up in the I ain't moment type feeling. You feel me? I ain't been going live because I ain't gonna lie. If it sound a little crazy, I've been like under the weather. I somewhat, you know what I mean? I shook back somewhat today. You know what I mean? To where I was able to go live. But other than that, I've really been on pause for real. But I had saw that he got popped with 21 things of fent, and I'm like, damn, man, that's just, you know what I mean? That's just, it's too late in the 2000s, and these are things that I talk about on my live about saying it's too late in the 2000s to be getting caught up in certain situations. You don't even want to be in a situation where you even fighting a case like that. That shit take, damn, about 3 years, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's like, and then I done been locked up before myself once in a life, and I done been locked up with dudes and Fed holding and y'all in the same block. And then they doing the trades when the door slide back. You can see the other block because we got the TV right there. And then you got a dude telling you, yeah, you, me and him, we co-defendants. And I ain't never met him before in my life. But because of y'all deal with the same person, y'all all is on the case together. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I had them run in with the FBI before. They are no joke. You know what I mean? And it ain't about money, you know what I mean? It's just a situation that you really shouldn't want to be in for real. You know what I mean? Like I say, if you get the opportunity to be around Bill Cosby, I don't care who it is, Nick Cannon, anybody, you know what I mean? 85 South Show, you have to take your glory moment and turn that into something, you know what I mean? Don't get to thinking like I'm gonna go cop me nine. Like I used to be like that many years ago. Like I used to be like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like thinking dope. You know what I mean? Man, I'm gonna go get me a quick, you know what I mean? A quick such and such, and then turn that in, make me a quick such and such. You know what I mean? Like, but at some point, the longer I was free and enjoying life, and you really start understanding what life really is, the longer you free. You know what I mean? And it don't happen overnight. It don't happen in a year or two. You know what I mean? 5 years go by, then a decade go by, then over a decade, then here comes another decade. So you really get to understand life for what it really is. It's not about surviving the game. You know what I mean? It's about surviving life. You know what I mean? I'd rather be free any day and able to, even though, you know, you get money in jail still, you know what I mean? I've done it before, but why not get money on the streets though? You know what I mean? Because it don't matter what you're doing in there to try to keep up with the times, you still ain't gonna be able to keep up. Okay, you got a phone, wow, but you're not out there. Okay, you keeping up with the latest fashion by through the phone. Other than that, it's just right now at this time of life, selling bricks, it ain't worth it. And I'm gonna tell you something like this. And a lot of people don't even know this because when you in the streets, you ain't watching news like that. You ain't really taking the time to really like investigate that type of activity. You might used to watch crime documents on certain dudes who was getting money or whatever, but that's far as it go. But if they pop El Mayo, El Mayo was over um, El Chapo. You know what I mean? So if they popped him, anybody who know the game or you don't know the game, you might need to go look up those names right now. They can't get no higher than them boys right there. You know what I mean? It don't matter who you is, you know what I mean? Even me, you're not gonna get no higher than the two names I just said. You know what I mean? Because the way the times is for one, and you just not gonna be that high up on the food chain, you know what I mean? That the level of these two names I just said. And both of those names is locked up right now. And if you think you just finna be at a level to where you think you even gonna sell 10 to 20 a month and you think it's just gonna be, oh, everything been smooth selling, I'm not on the radar, then you bugging right now. You really is, you bugging for real. You know what I mean? Like, You not above being touched. You know what I mean? And they got touched, and it don't get no higher than them. These boys was cartel leaders. You know what I mean? Sinaloa. So you know what I mean? It don't get no higher stages than when you playing at that level. You know what I mean? Me personally, when you understand life, the whole thing about me talking about this situation is this. It's not to put FBG Casino down. It's not to really even say what he should have did wrong or what he shouldn't have did right. Whatever it is, however you want to say it. It's more of when you grow with life, and if you got a homeboy or brother, or anybody, whether they made it as an athlete or anything that was positive, and they got you around, it's not about them giving you anything. You have to right then at that moment strategize and come up with a plan and think immediately, how can you benefit off his likeness and with y'all being friends and connected to each other to where, yeah, the money ain't, you ain't buying a Rolls Royce like how your partner is right away. But that's got to be the humbleness in you to check your ego to say you're not him. That'll come. You feel me? And you, I don't know, man. I just look at things different. And like I said, maybe it comes with because I've been, you know what I mean, free living life. You know what I mean? I know if I got a homie in the NBA, baseball, hockey, anything he's doing, if he doing a news press conference and I'm standing right next to him, and then people already know like, oh no, that's his real homeboy. Like, so they know the lane I jump into if I'm selling shirts or anything, they know it's, oh yeah, it's legit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, look who his boys support his brand. Woo de woo de woo. Oh, for real? You know what I mean? So, nowadays, man, it's no excuse, man, for you to just jump back and call up Hector and say, I need 5 blocks. You know what I mean? I'm the type of nigga, I'm the type of person now, I'm the type of nigga now in my life. Like I said this about 10 lives ago. Just because I might have been selling drugs in 2000, that don't mean I'm selling drugs now. So if you think because me and you knowing each other and that I was selling drugs in 2000, literally not just the 2000s, I'm just saying literally the year 2000, and you think you see me now at 225 at a gas station, that you can approach me about drugs, bro, you lost your damn mind. Like, I'm gonna look at you crazy. You know what I mean? Like I ain't seen you or been around you in forever. You know what I mean? And then I ain't gonna have to tell you that I ain't gonna deal with you because I'm not, because it show you where people, because they feel like they ain't changed, that you ain't changed. You know what I mean? And them the type of people you don't want to be affiliated with. For them to think that the last time they dealt with you in the drug activity world was the year 2000, not 2001, 2000. And for them to see you in 2025 and still think that they could talk to you about drugs, it's mind blowing. You know what I mean? It's mind blowing. You know what I mean? I don't even put myself in that situation. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can't link me to nobody. I got my little life set up well as far as on how I move. You know what I mean? Like you can't link me in with nobody. You can't tie me in with anybody. And then when even if you were to say he's an associate, even the law might then literally associate. What do you mean? Like he don't go to strip clubs. He don't go, but hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? That's about it. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like I move completely different. Like so. Um, like I say, I just hate to see the situation he in because that type of lifestyle where you selling bricks now, especially with the times is now, and you got dudes like Big Meech. He on his Instagram putting up stuff saying the game dead because a lot of us get in the game and we don't even really not study the game as far as the grams and the money, but like we don't even be like watching history. We don't really be studying how serious the game is until it gets serious when we get caught, and then we got to get a lawyer, and he telling us all these different charges about but they knew you crossed state lines, and this what made this fed. You know what I mean? Woo, 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 woo. Like a lot of people don't know nothing about. You shouldn't go to this state because you know what I mean. Erie, PA, or Virginia, these certain places is Commonwealth states. You know what I mean? So a lot of us just, you know, money, money, money. All right, I'm there. You know what I mean? Like we really don't study and learn. You know what I mean? Where we going, and sometimes you pay the cost for it. You know? So this Tribe TV, you know what I mean? Like I say, FBG Casino, this was not about dissing him. It's just about the way times is now, man. You ain't got to mess with no bricks, bro. You feel me? Okay, so what? You ain't got no Rolls Royce, so you ain't flying private, but you eating though. And sometimes, man, you gotta be content with how you eating and study how somebody else eating. You know what I mean? And sometimes it comes faster than others, and sometimes it comes slower than others. But I mean, that's just how life is. But it's about longevity, though. You know what I mean? So that's what we all got to keep in mind, man. Longevity is everything, and I'm a firm, valid, first Hall of Fame ballot for about longevity. You feel me? That's what I'm all about. Like I said, if it seemed like I'm adding a little weird, remember I was down sick, so um, you know, I figured I'd hop on live while I was able to feel somewhat cool. Now, my boy, Shadour, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get off here, tap in on some highlights with my mans. Like I say, even if you're not a Cleveland Browns fan, and that's very understandable, we gotta support 12. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I admire the support that he get from all walks of life. You know what I mean? Literally all walks of life be supporting him, go 12, cheering him on and everything. So I'm definitely gonna tap in with them boys. Uh, y'all heard that crack, right? That wasn't no already open bottle. You know what I mean? Nah. But tap in with 12. You know what I mean? I appreciate for y'all who stopped in here on Tribe Game on this Sunday. Remember, you need any pre-workout motivation, I recommend testosterone booster. See results in 7 days. 60 capsules, take 2 a day. Pre-workout, try it. You know what I mean? I ship, get it to you. We don't play by funds over here. Go to my YouTube post, check out my merch, check for updates. You know what I mean? Hit the like button, comment, subscribe, give me your point of view. You know what I mean? Like I say, I'm a little under the weather or whatever. I felt good enough to hop on live and do this right quick. And I really wanted to speak on that FBG Casino situation. And just, like I say, it's not about we saying he totally stupid. It's just this whole thing was more so about, look, man, whether you got a family member who a ball player, whether they do what Stuart Scott did, you're a commentator at ESPN, anytime you're around somebody, man, that is your opportunity to take advantage of you. Whether you had them hold up a shirt you doing, or you good at making burgers and they eat the burger and say this the best burger ever, come to 7920 Lewis Street Lane, you have to take that and roll with it and not be caught up in that. The paper ain't gonna come fast because it's about longevity. The paper's still coming. That's the whole point. It ain't gonna stop. It's coming. You know what I mean? It just might not be coming in lump sums what you used to. So that's what this live about. It's like, look, man, you know what I mean? Them 3-4 years that they had you on wiretaps and watching you could have been 3-4 years of you building a positive, legit brand that probably at this stage just would have been starting to prosper at the funds that you feel you want to continue supporting a certain lifestyle. And that's all what this about. You know what I mean? We ain't here to bash somebody. We just saying that it's too late in the 2000s for if you're back against the wall and you trying to make some bread for you to be buying bricks. That's just not a smart route. You know what I mean? So like I said, we ain't here to make nobody look crazy. We just all here saying now that, like, look, if you in a tight situation and your back against the wall, don't go rob a bank, don't go crash out, don't go do nothing crazy. You know what I mean? Just smoke your blunt, and you know what I mean, and just don't definitely buy no bricks. It's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Now I am a Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Now, if you mess with trees or something in Cali, we gonna say you pound something. I ain't got no problem with that. But we saying bricks. You know what I mean? Just don't go that route, dog. That's just not the route. You know what I mean? And like I say, man, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Thank you for hitting that like button. And to the supporters out there, I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay blessed. You know what I mean? Tribe TV. Like I said, I was a little under the weather, whatever. So that's why I ain't been on live. I'm still feeling a little iffy, but I had to come in here and tap in, with the people. And y'all already know Tribe TV. Like, comment, subscribe. You know what I mean? Go to my page. You know what I mean? Subscribe. Set your notifications. Like I say, water, A1. You know what I mean? Tribe Gang TV. We out.